Yeah, I was going to say, what is, because I say this one would be one that's right up your alley actually as well.
Right.
Is what is your favourite in-car tech that's currently available?
Ooh. Well, I currently have one of these in my car. Is what we're using for the sat nav. I've always been a fan of Apple products, and probably just slightly less than a decade ago, they started bringing out Apple CarPlay stereos. They were all aftermarket items to start off with, and slowly but surely, a lot of manufacturers, Audi, Volkswagen, Honda and a few others, started putting them in as standard on cars if customers asked for them.
Yeah.
Because basically it's a double DIN unit that when you plug it in, it basically becomes your phone. You can't write text messages or send text messages on it unless you do it through voice. But your sat nav goes straight to the screen. Your music or podcast come up on the screen like they do on your phone.
Yeah.
You get notifications of text messages and bits and pieces, so if you do get anything come through and you know it's something desperate, you can pull over to the side and reply to it. You can take phone calls. I mean, a lot of stereos you can take phone calls through, but and for me it was great because all the things I wanted to be able to do on a stereo without having to get one that was, say, necessarily a Bluetooth stereo with microphone and everything like that and other bits and pieces, I could do in the comfort of one stereo in one go kind of thing. And also a lot of them came out as the stubby double DIN ones, so if you wanted to link up CAN bus and stuff for like steering wheel controls and stuff like that, you had a lot more room in behind with the stubby stereos than you do with a normal size stereo.
Funny enough, I'm pretty sure those stubby stereos are the only ones I can fit into, the only double DIN I can fit into. The stubby double DIN is the only double DIN you can fit into an E46 without cutting away the...
Oh, like really damaging the dash?
Yeah, no, you don't have to damage the dash, you have to cut away the actual airbox in behind.
Oh, Christ.
So, I mean, some people have said, oh yeah, just put duct tape over it, put this tape, like aluminium tape over it. The thing is, if you get that wrong, you have ruined your air conditioning, your airflow into that car. And it's not hard, it's not an easy job to do an airbox on a car. You've got to take the dash out. That's going to be like an 8-hour job, surely.
Yeah, and it's not being funny, no stereo is going to sound good after you've done that much damage to your car.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, I've never done it, so I mean, somebody might have had a go. Is it? No, it's absolutely fine, I've never had a problem. And I mean, that is good, but I have to, I'm too much of a wuss then. I'm not cutting my airbox to fit a stereo.
No.
I'll cut a few, I don't mind cutting other things for aftermarket stuff, but not that. And
no, I don't blame you on that one, dude.
Yeah, and I was saying, funny enough, I would have said the most practical, thinking about, like, from my point of view, unless you've got more to say about the Apple Play.
No, I said enough, unless they want to send me stuff, and I'll carry on talking.
Well, it's, because I mean, we're like chalk and cheese with that. I mean, I've always been an Android person. I always love my Samsungs, my Android stuff. I just always found like I've gotten better with it. And same as like you've always found Apple, you've gotten better with it. So we have been like chalk and cheese with that. And but I would have said one of the best bits of tech I've got in my car as well is the Parrot kit.
Oh yeah.
Which is the Bluetooth. If you're not aware of these, Bluetooth hands-free kit. You plug it in with a link lead to your stereo, whether you've got a aftermarket one or a standard one, because I've got a standard one in my Beamer. And yeah, basically it's a Bluetooth system. You can take calls through it. I think you can actually get it to read text messages. My one's got a little screen on it, so you can put your own little picture on there, which is really cool. And but the thing that I use it for the most, which I love, because I've still got a standard Beamer deck in there. Because mine's such an old one, it never came with Bluetooth of any kind. But the Parrot kit, you can actually listen to music through your phone. Because I've got quite a bit of music saved to my phone, and you can actually listen to your music through it, which is that's what I use it for. I use that more than I use the I've got a 6-disc changer in the boot, and I use that more than I do that, like the changer these days. They're
really inobtrusive as well, because the devices are only about that big and about that thick.
Yeah, they are.
You can put them absolutely anywhere. Obviously, you want it somewhere in hand's reach for like the volume and answering and hanging up on calls.
Yeah,
but aside from that, like a stereo obviously takes up most of the dash. This thing is a tiny thing. Put it anywhere.
Because I mean, the actual ECU is about that sort of big. And but that's the in behind the dash. But yeah, the controls are about that big, and you've got like a volume up and down, touch like knob and press it for selecting things. You've got an answer call, end call, and a next track and previous track buttons on there.
Because Dav's got one in his Focus as well, hasn't he?
That's right, I fitted his for him, and Zara's got one in her car, I've got one in my car. And they're just fantastic. I really do like them. The only thing I don't like about them is the little buttons are really cool, and they're the best thing about them being, like the old ones, you used to have to put a wire through your dash to the controls, so you used to have to like drill a little hole or something like that. Whereas the one I've got is actually battery powered, so you just stick it to the dash. You don't have to wire it straight
to the battery either then, or
no, and
like
it means it's a lot more. If you wanted to take it out of your car, if you were selling it and put it in your new car, or take it out to sell the parakeet, you can do that. It's very minimal damage or changing you have to do to your car, if any, so you can take it out, you never know it's there.
Well, it's a lot easier for people who aren't necessarily you know, that way inclined for putting bits and pieces into their cars and hardwiring stuff and everything like that.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing I would say, the only thing I don't like about it is because it's battery powered. I've been out driving in my car, I thought, yeah, I want to turn this track up. I'm going to turn it, nothing, because the battery's running out in the controls.
Oh, no way.
So you can't do anything. It's like, great, I mean, to be honest, you can still use your phone to change tracks and do bits and bobs and answer calls and stuff, but obviously you've got no control over the volume, and it's so much easier just being able to go click, click, click on the dash and change.
What kind of battery did it take? Like a watch battery or something, is it?
It's a CR2032 battery, which is the same as what 90% of cars have got in their, well, it's probably about 70% of cars have got in their key fob. So it's like a key fob battery.
Oh, fair play.
And I mean, I had cheap ones that didn't last me very long, but I recently had one off of Dav, which I think was a bit more, I think an Energizer or something in it. It lasted a lot longer, which was really good. But yeah, that's my favourite piece of useful tech in the car. Because, I mean, there's so many different types of tech. I mean, what about funny, random things you've seen that made you smile? You thought, actually, that'd be really funny, but you've not really brought yourself to like waste the money on because it's just a piece, like novelty piece of tech.
One thing I always fancied, and you had it on the grey Cav, was the air horn.
Yeah,
that thing was absolutely brilliant.
And it wasn't just any air horn as well, by the way. It was a Dixie air horn, a Dukes of Hazzard air horn on that car.
It was absolutely brilliant. And I remember one night I was stood outside a mate's house and I heard it go off, and I thought, oh, Dorian must be in the area. So I gave Dorian a text and said, oh dude, you just been past Stuckerpath where I used to live, and you went, no, I'm the other side of town, dude. I was like, I just heard your horn. And it was clear as day, like he'd pulled up next to me and played it, and he was like a mile and a half away.
Do you remember us installing it outside of your parents' house?
Yeah.
And your neighbour kept knocking on the window.
To be fair, we did trial run it way more than we needed to. Do it again.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I just remember that was the old person that stood at the window going, shh. Brilliant. And it was well, funny enough, because I was going to say my favourite piece of novelty tech, which I actually really want to buy, is another horn.
Oh, right.
And it's damn, I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to have to write it in the link below this video. I think it's called the Sonic Boom Blaster or something like that. And it's guys in the States, they actually do deliver to the UK as well. And I'm determined to get one, but it means that the postage is about 25 quid or something. It's something not cheap. And but originally they did the war horn version, which sounded like the war rig out of Mad Max.
Oh yeah.
So you get that really nice sort of noise. It's just wicked. It sounds epic, and I love the idea of that. But they've actually released one more recently, which you can actually download 4 different MP3 files to, so you can have any horn you want.
Oh, no way.
You can go on their website and download the horns that they've got, so I can have the war horn on there as one, and you can put whatever you want on the other 4, and you can have it as a wired button to go inside your car. You can have a key fob, keyless one, so you can just press that. Yeah. So you can actually have that as well as your standard horn, so you're not going to be voiding your MOT or anything like that.
That's cool.
So, and I really want one of them, but I think it's going to work. It works out. It's going to cost me about 70 quid. So, but it's,
that's one you've really got to sit down and think: do I want to spend 70 quid on something that's going to make me laugh a couple of times, and then just be like, it's just gonna be mischief after that, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. It's gonna be that's what I want. I want to do it. And if I ever get one, I will do a YouTube video on it of us going out to downtown, because we're gonna have to get some funny things on there and do random stuff. Oh yeah. And it's so after it, that would be good. But yeah, that's my favourite novelty piece. And I did have one more question about tech actually. Oh yeah. What is your favourite part of car tech that used to be an aftermarket thing you put into your car that is now current on a lot of the new models? Ooh. That was one thing I don't know my answer to this just yet, but Mine is fairly simple, but it saves a lot of problems. Back in the day, if you wanted to power something in your car, you had to do it through your cigarette lighter.
Yes.
And a lot of times, if you had a second-hand car or an older car, a lot of the cigarette lighters didn't work. So to get around that, you'd have to go to Halfords or somewhere like that, buy they do like an aftermarket cigarette lighter, which you then have to hardwire into your car somewhere, so you can plug the adapter in to power the device. A lot of cars now come with USB sockets or USB-C sockets.
My work van's actually got one built into the dashboard.
Yeah. So now, instead of having to plug it into your cigarette lighter, and to be fair, they were always fiddly, you'd have to twist them sometimes to get them to work and stay on. Now, instead of doing all that, because people who make cars now know that everybody wants to plug either, they want to plug the phone into charge, they want to plug it into attached to their head unit or something like that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of cars now come with a USB-C or USB-A, the normal rectangular one.
Yeah.
Already inbuilt, so you can just plug and play straight away. And I think that's manufacturers looking at it and going, yeah, this is something that all our customers are going to want.
It is. That's the thing. That's why I thought about that question, because a lot of the old tech, if you look at a lot of the aftermarket things, I mean, to be honest, you look at the aftermarket stuff that people get now, there's not a lot.
No.
Not a lot of stuff that's different that makes your life better. Whereas when we were younger, I mean, like when you said about a cigarette lighter, my first car, my Metro 1.1L,
Yeah.
that was an optional extra. So my one had a blanking plate over a hole in the dash, just a little black blanking plate, where you would have a cigarette lighter if you didn't have the poverty spec model.
Yeah. Well, it's like my GSI, the cigarette lighter didn't work in it, so you and me one night in the dark hardwired another one in with its own fuse straight to the battery.
That's right, yeah.
Just so I could use a sat nav, because I had to take somebody long distance.
That's right, I forgot about that.
This was back before sat navs came on phones.
Yeah. Funny enough, I've still got a Garmin.
Yeah.
Because
I've still got a TomTom.
Yeah, I think they are good, because I mean, I'm doing my wife. She has a very basic phone. She doesn't have. She doesn't bother with internet or a contract on it, because she doesn't need one, which fair enough, because I got a contract on mine. But that means that if I'm not in the car with her, she can't get a sat nav through my phone, so I put the Garmin in the glove box of her car, so she's always got a sat nav there.
That's another thing, a lot of cars do come with sat nav now, don't they?
Yeah, that is another good one. That's the thing again, like, so you look at things like sat nav, things like that. I mean, my one, which was originally put in aftermarket, and well, I suppose it wasn't really aftermarket, it was something that came on cars and then people got as aftermarket because it came on higher-end cars. One of the things, I mean, there's so many I like. I mean, I like heated seats and things like that. They're lovely, and bits and bobs like that. And I would have said the one that I love the most now, well, it's a toss-up between two. There's one which is central lock-in or remote central lock-in. I mean, I've got both. My car's got remote central lock-in. My Shogun, it was an optional extra, so it's got a key you put in. But again, you can. I'm old enough to remember the days of when my old man had a car when I was a kid. He'd have to jump in the driver's side. He'd have to lean across, go dunk on the door, and then you'd have to try and reach around from the front door to the back to go dunk like that. Yeah. And I tell you, when it's pissing down with rain and you, or things like that, and like it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't good. I have to admit, that was just so much more of a pain in the arse. And
well, my works van didn't have central lock-in. So if I unlocked my driver's door, that's all it did. So if I needed the sliding door on the side, that was take the key around and unlock it. If I wanted to unlock the doors at the back, that was take the key around and unlock it. And then obviously they didn't lock themselves, you had to go around then and lock them all as well to make sure nobody could get in and nick your tools.
That's it.
Central lock-in is a beast of a thing.
Yeah, that's one of them. Air conditioning is another one. I mean, again, in the US, I mean, I'm guessing probably guys if anybody from the US is watching, or Australia or anything like that, they're probably thinking, what the hell are they on about? Aircon's been a thing here since the 50s, or it's the 40s even. But here in the UK, we were quite behind with some of the tech like that. Air conditioning was a luxury for a lot of people, and because a lot of people have got stiff upper lip here and are way too tight-assed, I'm not putting the aircon on. That costs another quarter of a mile per gallon.
Well, to be fair, apart from the drought of 76, we only usually get 3 hot days a year.
That's true, but I love my aircon, because in the winter it clears the windscreen really quickly, and in the summer it keeps you cool. And it's one thing I have got used to, and I think with that, I have to admit, when I get into a car without it now, it's a bit more like on a hot day and everything. So it's something I have got used to, and I've got a bit more of a snobbiness to.
Funny enough, it's one thing I never think of because it's the one thing on this car that's never worked.
Yeah, and I do, but it's mad. I always have old beaters, old wrecks of cars, but the last few I've had, touch wood, aircon's been one of the few things that's always worked in them.
Yeah.
The engines might break, but the aircon still works.
Yeah.
But it's but the third and the final one, which again is for me is more for sort of ease of use and things like that.
Yeah.
Is electric mirrors.
Yes.
Because I've had quite a few cars where you've got the little toggles on the inside, and I mean they were the luxury ones. My first car, you had to wind the window down and move the entire mirror like that.
Yeah.
And
I've had ones where to get it into position you've got to poke it and not poke it too hard because otherwise it goes too far in and then you can't pull it back out again tidy.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's but the driver's side is not too bad. You wind down the window, go glunk like that, or move it, and you're fine. Passenger side, you've got to move it, then you've got to go resume your position in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Look across. I've gone too far, damn it. Then you lean across and do it again. And just having that little electric button again, it's nothing spectacular to get really excited about. But if you've ever lived without electric mirrors, you know what I'm on about. So it's yeah, that's my three that is a tie for me. I don't think I can live without now. But an aftermarket option.
Well, I suppose the other thing is it's not really a tech thing or anything like that, but it's the fact that cars no longer have chokes.
Yeah.
My very first car, my old B-Reg Fiesta, had a choke and you had to pull it out and leave it out for a certain amount of time until the car warmed up before you could push the choke back in and resume driving as normal. And on the coldest of days, which we do get a lot in this part of the world, it was an absolute pain in the ass to try and start.
Yeah, and if you pull the choke out too far, you flood it.
Yep. And I know it's something that probably a good 70% of our audience has probably never had to deal with because they probably had newer cars, but there are definitely people watching this who felt a bit of pain when I mentioned the choke.
Yeah, I mean don't get me wrong, I mean I'm a little bit older than 30 and I'm a little bit older than 30 and I've only had a couple of cars out of choke, and it's I mean there's lots of tech like that on cars. I mean, what are the things in your cars that you wouldn't be able to live without? We'd love to hear from you. What has your car got that you could not live without now, that people had to years ago? If you can think of anything. And what's your favourite bit of tech? What's your favourite bit of upcoming tech in a car? Things that you've read about that you really like the idea of, and what's your favourite bit of silly tech? I mean, there's a few more of them that I can think of, especially when you look on Wish, there's thousands of them. And I'd love to have a scrolling message board in my back window, but I got limo black tint, so that would work. But
you're never going to write anything good on it. No. It's going to be abusive.
Definitely. So yeah, I said we'd love to hear from you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video and everything. And as always, we're on other social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, and everything like that. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you and for you to get involved. Also, if you want to get involved a bit more, we've actually got a Facebook group as well, so you can actually, if you've got questions for us, put them in there. It's only just starting off, so there's not a great deal of stuff going on there, but it's something we intend to do a bit more of. So yeah, keep an eye out and also stay tuned because we will have more content coming soon.
Cheers guys!
Cheers!